On Tuesday, the USGA and the R&A jointly announced the creation of a new model local rule that could go into effect no earlier than January 1st, 2026. And if it passes, it would give tournament organizers and tours the ability to mandate that golfers in elite level events use golf balls that would be tested in a whole new way. Now, what exactly is a model local rule? A model local rule is an amendment, an addition to the rules of golf that tournaments, that tours can choose to adopt or not adopt. It's a way for the USGA and the R&A to give more versatility, more choices to the governing bodies and the clubs that are going to be hosting elite level events. In this particular case, the model local rule, which does not have a name or a number or an official title at this point, would change the way that the golf balls used in elite level events were tested. As it stands now, golf balls are hit with a test club, a driver if you will, inside, and that test club is swung at precisely 120 miles an hour. It produces a shot that has about 2,700 RPM of backspin at a 10-degree launch angle. A golf ball is not allowed to travel under the normal test conditions past 320 yards. It's really 317, but there's a tolerance of 3 yards cooked into that. And that combines both carry distance as well as rollout. To try and better mimic the most elite golfers out there, the USGA and the R&A want to change the testing methodology for the golf balls for elite players. And they want to up the speed up to 127 miles an hour. They want to increase the launch angle up to 11 degrees. And they want to decrease the spin rate down to 2,200. So you're going to have a faster hitting shot with more ball speed on a higher launch angle with less spin. And that high launch, low spin thing means it's going to travel farther. Since the USGA and the R&A have said that they're not going to be changing the overall distance standard of 320 yards, but they are looking to change the conditions in which they're going to test golf balls for the most elite players for this model local rule, there is no way that all the golf balls that are out there today, the premium golf balls from companies like Titleist and TaylorMade and Callaway and Srixon and others, none of those golf balls are going to pass that test because you're going to be increasing the testing speed by 7 miles an hour, elevating the launch angle and reducing the spin. They're all going to fail. So in order to make golf balls that will pass the new condition test that the USGA and the R&A are proposing for this model local rule, golf equipment manufacturers like TaylorMade and Titleist and Callaway and Srixon and others are going to have to manufacture golf balls for the game's most elite players that are slower, that are less aerodynamically efficient, that are going to be able to pass that test. If this model local rule passes and then it's adopted by the DP World Tour, the Korn Ferry Tour, the PGA Tour, and other worldwide tours, that means starting in 2026, the best golfers in the world would have to start playing golf balls that go a lot shorter. According to the USGA and the R&A's data, they are anticipating a decrease of about 12 to 15 yards off the tee for the game's most elite players, but other people doing studies have said that it could be actually more like 20 or 25 yards off the tee. Now, what does this mean for you, the recreational golfer out there? Absolutely nothing. Again, this is a model local rule. Your local club will not be instituting this model local rule or enforcing it anywhere where you are going to be playing golf. And that leads me to one of the biggest questions that I have coming out of all of this. What exactly is elite golf? The USGA and the R&A, the governing bodies of golf around the world, have yet to come out and say, this is how we want to define elite golf. They are literally going to leave it up to everybody else to come up with a definition of elite golf, to choose whether or not they are going to implement this model local rule if it is adopted and made available to people. So potentially you could see this on the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, the Korn Ferry Tour, but would you see it in elite collegiate golf? Would we see this at the NCAA championships? Don't know. Would you see this potentially at Division I golf, but maybe not Division III golf? Would you see this in elite AJGA events where the top juniors from around the world get together? They're hitting the ball a lot farther, and that was noted in the press conference by both the USGA and the R&A. The other elephant in the room on this, obviously, then is bifurcation. A lot of people out there are going to take a look at this and say, look, you're creating two different sets of rules if this model local rule is adopted by the game's most elite tours, the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, the Korn Ferry Tour, etc. If those players are mandated and required to use a certain type of golf ball, but everybody else is not, and who would choose to play a distance reducing golf ball if they're looking just to have some fun. Or if the LPGA doesn't adopt it, then all of a sudden you've got different rules for different types of golfers. And that is essentially bifurcation. Now, the USGA and the R&A will pretty much go to their graves saying that they don't believe in bifurcation, that there are about 80 or so model local rules already on the books, with about a dozen of them pertaining to golf equipment. This is just yet another rule that, a model local rule, I should say, that can be used by tours. It's giving them more versatility. That is just simply not cutting it, at least so far, in the golf world. Almost everybody's universally saying this would be creating a bifurcated state, and that is something that a lot of people are really against. They love the idea that everybody plays by one set of rules, plays on the same golf courses, obviously at the appropriate tees, that unifying piece of the puzzle is one of the great allures of golf. And by creating this model local rule and mandating that the game's most elite players use distance reducing equipment, you're breaking that. Upon hearing this news, plenty of people out there said, bravo, it's about time. They've been wanting the golf ball to be rolled back for the game's most elite players for a long, long time, because in their opinion, distance has become too big a factor in the game of golf. It's taken away and diminished the requirements of skill to be able to move the ball, to shape shots, to be able to think your way in around the golf course. Players can simply overpower golf courses. We've now entered a comment period, which is going to extend until the middle of August. So stakeholders like equipment companies, golf course operators, and other people who have a vested interest in the game are going to be able to communicate to the USGA and the R&A what they think about the proposed model local rule. So regardless of where people stand right now, there's a lot more to come in this story.